Oh snap, we're live. Okay. Well, hello everybody. Every one person. We'll
It's
chat.
crazy.
It'll fill up. What's up, Nathan? So what's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? This is Judah Rad. I got Robo Strange here. We got G here. We have a very special guest as well. We have Dane from Forced Adversity. Hello, Dane.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And he's got a YouTube channel, and it's doing pretty well. It's a pretty rapidly growing YouTube channel, and it's almost singularly focused on defeating Comicsgate. So it's pretty awesome. We're not tremendous fans.
Let's jump right into that. Tell us about your channel.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do focus on Comicsgate a lot, just because but that's where a lot of my knowledge base is in comics and the culture and stuff like that. But I am planning on branching out, and I have branched out before. More into like the fandom menace side of things, and and I'm even going to. I've got an episode of my new series, The Flat Scan Review, in the works on that right now. Then the third episode is actually going to be addressing some bad lefty takes that I've collected over a couple of years. And then,
shit.
And then it's all right.
What was that?
A Murloc.
Yeah, so I'm actually starting streaming weekly, starting tomorrow. I've got a co-host that's joining me. Excited about that.
Cool.
Is that on Forced Adversity? On the YouTube channel?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Busy guy.
So let me ask you something, just to kind of this is just something that came up earlier today on our Discord, and I'm just curious about your take on it.
Okay.
Is James Bond a superhero?
That's not the next question on this thing.
I think it is the most important one, though.
That's I never really thought about that. No, I'm gonna say no.
Yeah. Okay.
That's one for my team.
Why? Partly because typically superheroes do what they do, on an individual basis, or for some reason that makes sense to them, but isn't, basically because Bond is controlled by a government agency, and I feel like that kind of negates the idea of being a superhero. At that point, you're just an agent for the government.
So is Nick Fury a superhero?
No.
Yeah. That's actually a good answer.
I like it.
I actually struggle more with James Bond than Nick Fury. I would definitely say Nick Fury is not. I think that was an easy.
Why do you think he's not Nick Fury?
Nick Fury? Yeah. Because like you said, so to me, Nick Fury seems like more of like a supporting role kind of deal. He's just like he helps the story go forward. And he collects superheroes to put out. You know what I mean? Like the lady, what's her name? Who collect the Suicide Squad is in charge of, what's her name?
Amanda Waller.
Yeah, Amanda Waller. So, yeah.
All the things I could think of were like inappropriate.
What is she? Is she a supervillain?
That's tricky. I think that more recently in the comics, and especially in the MCU, Nick Fury is portrayed as more of a ethically on the right side of things, like on the more heroic, I guess. Yeah. But like historically in the comics, that dude's done some fucked up stuff to like get what he wants. You know what I mean? Like that just takes him out of the running for even being heroic in some cases.
Right.
So spicy take. I don't think whether someone's a superhero or not has anything to do with really heroism, powers, or where they stand, like as far as like working for the government or working independently.
Okay.
I think it's a whole bunch of overlapping circles, and like one of those circles is they're like related to comics in some way. One circle is superpowers, one circle is they have supervillains, and it's just where some of those circles overlap. And there's the biggest circle, the one that I think is the most important, is perception. So like
you cut out what perception?
Yeah,
cultural perception. So like there's a cultural perception of what a superhero is that can only be defined by how most people feel about it. So like Bugs Bunny is heroic, fights bad guys, has incredible powers,
Absolutely
is
superhero.
virtually unstoppable. I wouldn't categorize Bugs Bunny as a superhero, and it's only because he doesn't fit the cultural archetype, and because there's not enough people that associate him with superheroing. So,
I would argue that I wonder how many people consider James Bond a superhero.
I don't think anybody considers James Bond a superhero. I'm on the he's not a superhero side of the fence.
Oh,
yeah. I just
who says he is? I thought
framed it. We did have people in the Discord server.
I'm thinking. I thought it was like G Nod, and then Judo was here, and I'm like, where is he going with this? Because that doesn't fit James Bond. Like, oh, we're on the same team. Well, that's no fun.
Well, and I also think that maybe this is old fashioned of me, but I tend to think that superheroes, while they like Captain America, will kill somebody if he absolutely has to. Like that's not his go-to thing. That's not what he, it's typically not in the first few tricks that he's going to use if he's trying to accomplish something. But James Bond literally has a license to kill. Like that's almost his function is to, be an assassin for the state, essentially.
Yeah. An assassin.
Can you get
100%.
Can you get a learner's permit to kill? Like, is there a situation?
Yeah, pretty much. If you Casino Royale at the very beginning, it shows him getting his first 2 kills. So I think at that point, before he got that second kill, he had to kill. Yeah.
He had to have like an adult over 25 path. Kill him too. Cool. So just real quick, just kind of going around the room. I don't know. Should I go first or last? Is it weird to go first? I'll go first. So we're just going to talk about what everyone's been in.
Are we not going to finish the questions you put up?
Yeah, the interview. We're doing what we always do. What I talked about before we started this.
We went into the questions and then we stopped. I see what you're doing here.
Okay. Yeah, getting us back on track.
I feel like you tried to save it. You're like, well, not. I could tell Robo's going into the interview questions. Let me break it up with a James Bond thing.
Let me derail and then derail and then reset. That was
yeah. Okay, let's do that again. Joke time and go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, let's rein it in for a second. So I went to the LCS today. I didn't get a chance to go on Wednesday. I was late to it. I'm gonna just kind of enlarge myself really quick. Whoa. It always scares me. It's like I zoom up on the
that
screen.
Handsome devil.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I stopped by the LCS and I got I had to get this because I really like this. This is a second run, but it's a continuation. It's still Kieran Gillen and Esad Ribic, and I'm pretty stoked to read this. I haven't had a chance to open any of these yet. This is a big hell yeah, Dark Days number 2. Yeah. And then we were talking about it before the stream, but this Defenders run is absolutely bonkers. And I would say if you are into the cosmic kind of shit where it overlaps with like magic, like if you just want full on crazy shit, I'd say this is definitely the way to go. And then had to because this is one of the best series that's going on right now. I swear, I think James Tynion is going to be the next like Neil Gaiman or like the next Alan Moore. Like I feel like that is going to be remembered because he's just turning out shit every. It's incredible. I don't know anything about these two. I got these because the covers were cool and because I thought I remembered hearing someone talk about them. But these look pretty dope. I'm looking forward to reading these, especially this one. Just look at that cover. How aesthetically pleasing that is.
That chick reminds me of Todd Bernardi. It makes me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, 100% does. And then my books came in. I started reading this in the car, which I know is incredibly dangerous. So I apologize, but I couldn't help it.
Why?
Yeah, I'm like,
what?
Well, the stoplight.
Are you worried you're gonna bend the book?
No. At the
that's the worry.
I know that's funny. That's what they're worried about.
Yeah, the book was safe, as you can see, and then I haven't started this yet, but I'm really stoked about this as well. And then I'm almost done, but I had to get some weird shit too. So there were these trading cards that I collected when I was like a child, and they were the most gory and disturbingly horrifying, gratuitous trading cards ever. And there's like a comic book series called Dinosaurs Attack based on this trading card series. So I'm super excited to read these. I opened it up and it's really just horrific. It's dinosaurs ripping people to shreds. So looking forward to reading that. And then this just old and quirky. I had to get it. This is from 1964, and when I opened it up, there's like it's like for small children in the 60s. So like I opened it up and there's like a section like write your own, and it's a page of like the characters with their word balloons, but like there's nothing in them. And I saw little like words scribbled in by like some child in the 60s, and I don't know, that really like hit home for me. Cute. So anyway, that's what I got. Oh,
did you used to write in your comic books? So is that what you're saying?
No. It hit home as in like I remember being a child, so seeing like expressing
comic books, little shits.
Yeah. No, and then I just binge watched Squid Game, and it's like one of the best things I've seen in a long time. And I'm all caught up on C. Actually, there's a new C today, and I haven't seen it yet, so I'm probably gonna watch it after this stream. So that's where I'm at.
All right. I'm gonna be quick. All right.
That's what he said.
That's not what I want to do. That's
what you've been doing lately.
All right. Yeah. First of all, I will just skip straight to Squid Game. There's a lot of shows out there where very few, like probably almost none, where people might say, "Oh, I don't really like that show," and I go, "Oh, okay," or they'd be like, "Wow, that show's super boring." Like, weird, I love it, and then I just go on. Squid Game. Anytime someone tells me, and I've heard this at least like 2 or 3 times, like, I don't get it. I don't really like it, or it's not for me. My brain's like full judge mode. Mine's like, I can't, does not compute. It's really good. I fucking love it. All right. I just wanted to throw it out there. Don't tell me you don't like Squid Game. I will judge you.
It's objectively good.
I never said I didn't like it. I said some of the scenes would work better in a comic book format.
So for you, I read what you wrote about the first episode. I'm like, I'm gonna wait. They'll come around.
Keep watching.
I have similar problems with the second episode. I think there's some things that would work better if it was not being filmed.
Yeah, that's fair.
But you know what? Fair. That's a very, very tiny criticism.
Hey,
I 99% love the show.
So, hey, thanks for joining us, G. It was really nice to see you, and take care.
Thank you. I was taking a drink of water. That's perfect timing.
All right, let's throw this real quick. So I did get Berserker #5 shiny covers, of course. Got to get the foils, and because I keep getting the foils and I don't want to open them, I did buy volume 1. So Keanu Reeves was getting all my money, which I'm sure he appreciates, so that he can make his house payments on time.
No, he's a good person. He appreciates it. He knows your name and he knows your birthday.
That's right. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
He's buying all the variants and the trick.
Wow. What a good guy.
What a good guy. I got the Amazing Spider-Man #75. Nice. Last book you'll ever read, 3. I also got something that I have like no desire to read ever, but I really like foil covers. Got this variant, Firefly Run, and it's all silver. And I've never seen the show. I don't really plan on it because it's only 1 season, and
I think it's overrated.
Like, yeah, maybe I'll watch it one day, but I don't know.
If you haven't watched it by now, if it hasn't appealed to you by now, don't bother.
I've never even tried. It's not like I did 1 episode and it didn't catch me. I've never tried. So maybe
I feel like with how hyped it's been, like, and you know the premise and shit. Like, if you haven't watched it by now, I don't think you need to hurry to.
I think it's like
the comic is not bad.
Just watch The Expanse. It's way
give
better.
the comic a read. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying the Boom
Expanse is
Firefly
amazing.
run.
Yeah.
Fans get the comic. All right. Bet. This super cool variant. It looks like a movie cover for Amazing Spider-Man 75, Eternals, Celestia. That's what
He said Ribic might be the best artist of all time. I think he's definitely in the running.
I absolutely love
pretty
him.
great. Yeah.
Dark Age is #2, of course. Then I did get Darkhold. Got that one going.
I forgot about that one. I'm going to buy it right now.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
pretty.
yeah.
But everybody's
It's
super mad about
unexpected, but like welcome for me.
Nice House on the Lake, of course. Icon and Rocket.
Nice.
Yeah, that was.
I heard that Nice House on the Lake has an almost exact depiction of Wisconsin.
Like every person
I heard
from
that you're a
Wisconsin has
poopy face.
always said like, "Wow, I read it and it's like I'm back home."
I lost my pillow.
Gee, you look like you want to say something.
What?
I'm fixing my pillow.
In my rage, I disturbed my little nest.
There's not a lot of books, DC books between Judah and Robo. Look, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Danny. No matter how Judah's gone. Got that good old El Paso internet there. I thought he was just really cheerful. He's just like, I don't really know what to say right now, so I'm gonna sit here and laugh and smile. That's good. We're gonna clip this out. Yeah, Danny, listen. No matter how much we talk about DC, no matter what books come out, we're always gonna be Marvel first. And you just gotta.
You talking about me?
No. Oh, sorry. No,
okay.
Danny in the chat. So
gotcha.
Danny in the chat. It's like there's not a lot of DC books between. So Danny's a big DC fan. And yeah. All right. So let's see what we got here. G.
Okay, so I want to talk about one of my favorite books, this DC title, Ruby Justice League, which got me. Jessica Cruz is going to be in it, and I read everything she's in. And it made me start watching Ruby because I didn't want like spoilers for the show. And now like I have a whole new show I like. It's a delightful little mashup if you're interested in like either of those things.
All right. Oh, does like Ruby stand for something?
Oh, Ruby is do you know like Rooster Teeth?
No.
They're a internet TV place. I don't know. The only thing I watch there is this one anime. But it's like a weird 3D anime show. Like I love like the Fire Emblem series, and the animation reminds me a lot of those games.
All right.
So for me, like it's a good fit. But it's about like a school where they train monster hunters, and everyone has like an ability.
All right. Is it like Strange Academy type thing, or
a little bit? Yeah. The first
I heard school and magic, and that's like the only.
The first 2 seasons take place at a school, but like it expands very quickly after that into like there's a whole gonna destroy the world plot because it's an anime.
Bet.
And if you start, the animation does get better. Keep going. Anyway, so next, this is like my favorite one I see every week when it comes out. I'm really enjoying the IDW Beast Wars. If you enjoyed that show as a kid, absolutely pick that up.
I need to check that out. Yeah.
It like is one of those comics you can tell that the person writing it loves the material it's based on.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's made me get the show back out and watch it. I think we'll be familiar with this one.
Yeah.
He was on.
That's the cat.
I fell asleep. I was not on that show, but yeah.
Yeah. It was a slow burn. I'm like cinnamon, and yeah, no, that's awesome.
The premise of it is it's told from the perspective of the owner and the cat.
Yeah.
So like it's just the cat doing like the owner being like, "Here's your food," and like, "Oh, you silly Gus," and like the cat.
This whole cat thing in there,
like there's this really complex plot from the cat's perspective about like betrayal and battles being pitched and treasure.
You remember that, Judah, right? Oh wow!
What?
Jesus Christ! You may want to do a good restart there. That was you answered me like 6 seconds later.
No. I just didn't hear you very well.
Do you remember Cinnamon, the cat with the adventures?
No.
We interviewed the writer. No big deal.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yes.
No, yeah, that book is like delightful. I'm so glad you guys interviewed him.
Yeah.
And then I got these two, which I have not read yet.
Oh, you should.
I'm excited for Corset because like this is a thick boy.
Oh, Corset, not corpse.
Yeah. And I just there's ladies in armor. I have to know what that's about.
Yeah, and swords and shit. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Right
cool.
on.
I know you got some.
Cool.
Like, we'll let you do this. We'll let you do this one time. What's your non-comic? What book are you in the middle of reading? Because I know.
Oh, actually, no. You know what? That's the thing. I just finished a book today. I'm not in. I'm reading Vampire the Masquerade right now.
Stop it, Danny.
Getting ready.
But no, I just finished reading trashy mystery novel by the woman who like inspired the show Bones.
Oh yeah. So you talking about that in Discord? Yeah.
I am 18 novels deep in that series, and like they are an itch. They scratch a very certain itch.
Nice. The trash itch. Nice.
This one is about child murder.
It's picking up. I don't know what mic it's using. Maybe your headset or something. It's not using your blue Yeti.
Okay. Well, Dane, tell us about what you're reading while I.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. All of my physical stuff is put up, but I can like scroll through my thing here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. I just bought Darkhold a minute ago because I forgot about it. Spider-Man 75. Defenders, like we were saying before the stream started, that's amazing. I love that book. Dark Ages, Doctor Strange, Death of Doctor Strange, #1. I've been probably my favorite. Well, I don't know if I can say that for sure. I got to think about it. But one of my favorite series of late has been was Way of X, and then the Onslaught Revelations. Man, I've always loved Nightcrawler, but like that book just took him to another level for me, and it just. Such a, I just think an important part of this Krakoa era of mutants. It really
That's
nailed
Simon Spurrier.
Yeah, and between that and Black Knight, Cy Spurrier has just become one of my favorite writers lately. So,
he did a what was it Legion run like a long time ago that was like character defining.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, super good.
Have you read Way of X yet, Judah?
No.
You know what? I'm not going to say anything then.
I'm trying to read literally every Dawn of X, Reign of X thing. So I'm way behind because I'm trying to read everything. So I haven't even
don't rush it. Take your time.
Which is sad because we were there. We were there at the beginning. We were in the shop together. Like we're buying them and we're on it. And then we fell off, and then we said, "Well, we'll trade weight the first volume," and we fell off super hard.
There's no way that anyone who's current with X-Men has been reading every single title. There's just no way.
No, not every title, but we could have been at least the main continuity. You know, what I mean, the Hickman at least.
I mean, I think I was pretty much caught up with every title up until COVID, really. Like, and then during COVID, I just all of my habits fell off, and I've been kind of picking things up here and there since then. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I do really like Marines so far.
Marines is great.
Yeah, it is really great. As the most badass interpretation of Kitty Pryde, I think, Kate Pryde.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Good stuff.
That's dope. I actually gave up on trying to like catch up on reading piles. I have my new long box next to me, so now I'm gonna have like a to read long box. I'll just fill it.
I have a to read corner of my house. So
there it is.
You're good.
Nice. All right. So there we go. Cool. That's what we're doing.
Okay. So to the people who have kind of recently joined the chat, we have Forced Adversity here. Dane from Forced Adversity. And we're gonna ask him a bunch of questions. Robo, do you want to kind of lead us off?
Yeah, for sure. I will say this much. I do want to address the chat for 5 seconds. There's a certain type of crowd that we expect Forced Adversity to bring into here. We expect chuds or trolls or any that kind of stuff. That's super easy to deal with. You just kind of ignore them or you block and you move on. But if you're the other side of things, I understand that some people are not happy one way or another. Friends of friends, I get it. But just be cool. Like just be cool. If it gets too crazy, I will mute you. That way it doesn't get super toxic in the chat. But speak your mind. Just be cool. So we talked.
Be nice to each other. God damn it.
Yeah. So Dane, we talked about like your channel, what you do, and you said you're going to branch off. You do know that you said that you concentrate on CG. What was the thing? I am curious to know like other channels that you've done, like, and what brought you to Force Adversity, and what was the thing that said, okay, I'm going to go after CG. This is going to be what the channel's about.
Well, so I mean, this is the only channel I have up until earlier this year. I started a second channel that just focuses on comics and stuff, like none of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I started the channel in, pretty much 2 years ago, within, I don't know, it's like within a week or two of 2 years ago now. So like it was end of September, start of October in 2019. And I'd been wanting to start it for a long time because I honestly had been watching. So I used to run some comic book groups on Facebook. And over time, as years went on, I noticed more and more hostility, just a lot more, past
on Facebook?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is
crazy.
2015, 2016. It just became harder to, I noticed that there were these people claiming that this or that was political or whatever, things that, I've been reading comic books literally my entire life. My older brothers were into comics and stuff. So like, it was just, has always been part of my life. And it just kind of troubled me to see how many people were saying like, oh, well, if there's a black character, then that's a political message or forced, type thing. I didn't understand it at all, for one thing. And so I started looking into it and stuff. And then I started seeing Comicsgate sprouting up and becoming more of a thing, and hearing more anecdotes of people can't engage in their fandom safely because they've got, these types of people coming after them and targeting them, harassing them, abusing them, so on. And it pissed me off. It just became something like I started looking for other people that were addressing it, for one thing, and didn't find a bunch of them. But initially when I started the channel, it wasn't just to focus on this stuff. I was like, my first video was actually just a kind of a political video talking about something going on politically. And I didn't have a specific focus for the channel. It was just basically, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And then as time went on, I would cover comic stuff here and there. And I actually started a series called Forced Adversity that was going to be the show where I addressed this type of stuff. And then I would do other videos on other stuff. But over time, that was just by far and away the most popular type of video that I would do. Every time I would cover that stuff, it was, it was really successful. And it would have a lot of people thanking me for doing it and stuff. So is that some kind of loud noise going on? Is that me or?
That might be, let's see.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I think it's good. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay. There it is again.
Power through it. You'll be good.
Right on. It's just distracting. You know what I mean? Right. ADHD and whatnot. But
yeah, I feel that. I take some Adderall.
Was it coming from me?
Yeah, it went away when I muted you. So I think maybe you're a fan or AC or something. Well, go ahead.
Definitely. So, yeah, what was I saying?
So
yeah,
it's like an AC fan, and it threw me off. So now I don't remember what you were saying. No, just kidding. Go ahead.
As time went on, and I noticed that those were by far the most popular videos that I would do. I just basically made the decision to narrow my focus, and kind of accepting that I had gotten to where I was okay at this, and as far as I consider myself more successful the more of Comicsgate type people get mad at me.
Yeah.
And I've got a background in journalism, and so that comes in really handy. I try to keep things. Of course, there's going to be people that say I don't, that I just lie all the time, but I really do as much diligence as I can to be as factual as possible.
For sure.
And while applying my own ethics and opinions on top of that. But and that's where I'm at pretty much. And of course, earlier in the year, when I decided to narrow the focus, and the channel used to be called Actual Context. When I decided to narrow focus to just forced adversity, and that's going to be what this channel does, I also decided I need a second outlet to just cover the things that I'm passionate about, because I don't want this to be the only thing that I do. It's just the one that happened, the part of my channel that had become most successful and what people wanted to see. And it, it gives me a feeling of satisfaction when every time, a comment or an email or whatever tells me they really appreciate that someone's doing this. So, that kind of stuff means the world to me.
So one of the times that we pushed on this, we had Renfamous on the show, and of course the Chuds flooded the chat, and we ended up getting doxxed and our stuff put on Kiwi Farms and all that kind of stuff. Yikes. And that was we're pretty active on Twitter, so every now and then EVS will get into a back and forth for a little bit, but then it goes away, right? They have pretty short memories. But with you making this making forced adversity, they're like the focus of that stuff. What other kind of? I feel like you've had to gotten worse, like death threats or anything like that, or maybe am I being over dramatic or what? I
don't believe I've gotten any explicit death threats. I've gotten kind of implicit ones, I guess. Like you'll get yours and stuff like that. But
we're gonna take you for a swim with some concrete boots.
I've gotten a whole lot of just slurs. Being called all kinds of homophobic slurs and stuff like that. That
you haven't been doxxed?
No.
Weird. We got doxxed right away. What the fuck?
Right away.
I mean,
bullshit.
May I ask, do you know how? How they got a hold of your stuff or what?
Yeah, all my information is in the public sphere, so they just looked it up.
That's why. Because
that's why.
Mine isn't. Like I said, I was looking at this stuff for a couple of years before I ever started a channel, and I had to work through a few things. One of them, and it's kind of maybe apparent right now, that I'm not a natural public speaker. It's not something I've ever been good at. I've never liked having a bunch of attention on me at one time, right? Though I've gotten a lot better at it. What's that?
Nah, just addressing the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
But one of the things that I knew I needed to do, because I'd seen what Comicsgate and other types of people would do, is dox people and SWAT and crap like that. I scrubbed myself from the internet for probably over a year before I ever started a channel. I got rid of all my social media. If they hacked into my YouTube or email or whatever right now, they would find information that's not going to tell them anything because I prepared for it. So
they revealed to the world that I drank underage when I was 20.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's
how dare you?
It's really fucking embarrassing. One day I'm gonna have to get another job, and people are gonna see that. So.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That was actually the funniest part of the thing. That when they did dox us, some of the stuff was they were all quasi flattering type stuff.
They picked a sexy picture of me. I'll be honest. It was a good picture.
That's the secret. They're all sexy pictures.
That's how you do it.
So Dane, gonna sound like an antagonistic question. It's not. I'm just curious about this because it's something that I often discuss with myself. So I kind of see Comicsgate as this engine that's fueled almost exclusively by attention, and definitely not by comics. It's like a attention machine. So what I often wonder is when you devote airspace to fighting them, is there any way that inadvertently increases their power, fuels them, just by giving them that attention that they so badly crave. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's valid. I've heard that a few times, and it's something that I considered. And no, I don't think it does. I mean, I think that, for example, EVS has 160 something thousand subscribers. I have not quite 5,000. So it's not like this is a debate I've seen online as far outside of comics too, with just like politically the idea of platforming.
Yep.
If you have someone like some known Nazi on your channel or whatever, like how yeah, exactly the sizes of the platforms make all the difference, because if you give a Nazi with 50 subscribers a platform on your 100,000 subscriber channel, that's not a good fucking thing,
right?
But if it's Richard Spencer and he's coming on your channel with 5,000 subscribers, like what is that doing?
He's platforming you,
right?
That's exactly right. No, yeah. This argument is exactly right.
I think there's something to be said for like when you have like a certain demographic that's like actively being harmful to one or multiple fandoms. I think it's important for people who are also part of that demographic to speak up about that, because in a lot of cases, like that's the only people that are going to listen. That those people listen to.
Yeah, that's a big reason that I do it as well, is that I am a cis white male, and I recognize that fucking privilege, and I know that it would not be as easy for me to do what I do if I was not any of those
anything
things.
else. Yeah.
So I try to utilize that, but as well, like the way I see it is, and this is something that I've just come to in the last year. Not even a year, probably 8-10 months. This was an epiphany I had, really, that was like, okay, I get it now. Because when I started this, my goal was like, I was naive. I was like, if I just, get the facts out there, people will change their minds about this stuff. They just, right. Yeah. Laugh at me, please laugh at me. And
I think we all have come to a point since at least 2016 where realizing that like facts are not important.
Right. So So the way I see it is that they're not aiming for, like, they're not trying to change the minds of people like me and you and who know comic books and stuff like that. What they're doing is trying to grab new fans and casual fans who, maybe they saw the MCU movies and they decide, oh, I'm going to get online and look for Thor or whatever the hell. And, like if someone's completely oblivious to the facts of the comic book, the lore or the fandom or the industry or any of that, and they get online and start looking and they find a Comicsgate channel that's telling them, and not only that, but several of them, and they're saying it very forcefully, and especially guys who used to be pros in the industry, right? Saying the industry's dying and it's because of SJWs and all, shit like that. There, it's, the social pressure of that, the social, the social influence of that is probably, it's likely to draw that kind of person in. And so what I'm trying to do is create a counter narrative that's, more based in facts, as well as inspire other people to do the same thing. Like I've said it before, if another channel comes up and does what I'm trying to do 10 times better and gets 1 million subscribers, I'll be like, hell yeah. And I'll, shut my channel down and become their Patreon supporter or whatever. And like, that would be a dream come true for me. So,
yeah.
You could just be friends.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, but I mean, just it's a way of expressing.
Although
that this isn't
we know how
something
leftists do friendships, so
right. This isn't something I do because I just super enjoy it or because I like being antagonistic or anything like that. It's just and this sounds fucking trite, and but like it's because I feel like it's the right thing to do, and I have the skill set to do it.
All right. Yeah. I like what you said earlier about the whole platforming thing. I definitely we had a little bit of a conversation about that, and I'm on board with that as well. One of the things I was actually pretty excited about, I've been watching your stuff for a little bit now, and when I saw the Surfs do a thing and it was based off your video, I was like,
that was huge for me.
Yeah, it was dope, right? I went through, if I'm honest with you, I went through kind of like a phased kind of reaction to that. You know, having been in this world doing the YouTube stuff for the past, I don't know how long we've been doing, like 2 years, year and a half, something like that. First I was like, fuck, because I'm like, if we're doing labels, I would consider myself a leftist, right? So like I watch surfs, I watch all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, he talks about some nerd stuff, Lance, but I would say people outside of comic books have never fucking heard of Comicsgate, right?
Right.
And then when Lance on the surfs does a whole thing on it, it becomes, Fandom Menace and Quartering and all those fucking pieces of shit, they're big. And now there's like some reverse legitimizing of CG, like Comicsgate and EVS, like, yeah, we're like the Quartering too, guys, And so first phase was like, fuck, like I don't want CG out there like that, right? But what you just said is the second phase of my emotion is this. I'm like, and we saw it. I don't know, at least 2 or 3 times so far in the people that we interview. There are people that will do our due diligence and try to figure out if they're CG related or not. And a couple of them have done interviews with them or have hashtags with them. And we're like, hey, we don't fuck with CG like that. So sorry if you're related. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, well, I'm not CG. Like, well, I'm looking at this post and they're like, had you on the show and they said that CG supported. I don't even know what CG is. Like, what? They seem like good dudes. Like, what's going on here?
It's that some people who are doing Kickstarters or Indiegogo campaigns they're like, they want to dip into both pots. They want that CG funding that they get from like douchebags, but they also be treated like legitimate people, and you just can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean?
Right. But my point is that they are good at coming off as normal at first.
Yeah.
I've even seen, like, EVS tweet. I'm like, wow, if I didn't know who you were, I might think you were normal.
Yeah, one of the things that they like to do, and they've done this a few times, and I was just telling my friend about the Donny Cates example, but like they will every once in a while they'll tweet something or whatever. One of them will say in a video or whatever that so and so is cool with Comicsgate. So I think it was like a year or 2 ago or something where they said,
I remember that.
Donny Cates is down with Comicsgate, and Donny Cates didn't say anything about Comicsgate, right? But what that does is puts him in a position to either come out and have to say, fuck no, I'm not, or say nothing and just allow that, that to go around, that Donny Cates is cool with Comicsgate.
Which signal boosts them if he has to throw it back out there, yeah.
Which he did. He did come out and say, fuck those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he says it all the time now. And like, yeah, it upsets Ethan Van Sciver quite a bit. But yeah, they did Darwin Cook, that one was really fucked up. Where they started saying that, and this is after his death, right? That Darwin Cook would have been cool with Comicsgate, and his wife came out and was like, no, he wouldn't have. He would have thought you guys are fucking idiots. Yeah. And then they started like harassing her and saying that you're you don't really know your husband and shit, like, just the craziest shit, because it's all about the thing is, and these are valid concerns, and that's why I don't like get mad at people whenever they mention them to me, because I understand the logic, but the thing is they're doing tactics like that and trying to legitimize themselves to the point where to not push back on them at all, I think, is the more harmful thing. Yeah. Because like, for example, would you guys agree that Comicsgate is a hate group?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So do you think that we should, I don't know, not talk about hate groups?
Absolutely not. But like, I guess where I'm coming from is, it just as an observer, it looks like they're dying on their own. Like, just looking at their campaigns and looking at how many creators they have and looking at their fan base, and also, just seeing how just the internal strife they have among each other, they look like something that's dying. And
you're kind of right. And so
it feels to me like up on the surfs, to me, that's like to the heart, like resuscitating them for another like 6 months. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why I'm on the fence with it. You know what I mean?
The issue isn't. I know that it's the easiest way to say that what I do is go after Comicsgate, and that is the easiest way for me to say it. I say it a lot, but the fact is, their narratives have spread outside of Comicsgate. There are people who don't identify with Comicsgate who think that SJWs are killing the comic industry, right? Like that's just a narrative, and all those stupid little, completely false narratives. You know what I mean? Like the industry's doing great. It's I was surprised at how well it did last year.
Dude, listening to Ben Shapiro talk about comic books is the most cringe shit ever. Dude is such a casual.
So it's
Ben Shapiro talk about anything.
When I is like the easy. All right, hold on. Let me think how to formulate this. But like, I'm not going after Comicsgate. I'm going after narratives that are harmful to the fandoms in the industry.
Yeah.
So it's like you're saying okay. Sorry, I was just gonna mansplain what you just said.
Go for it if you want to.
No, it's just like if they stop, I'll stop. Yeah,
I mean, even if
anything to go up against, then
let's say Ethan Van Sciver and Comicsgate as an official thing or whatever just stops doing all the stuff they're doing next week. If there are still people out there that are saying that you shouldn't add black characters to comics or something, I'm going to address that shit too.
Right.
I think a good like parallel is QAnon, right?
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people talk about why talk about QAnon. QAnon, they're just a bunch of crazies. They're just a fringe, and talking about that gives them power. And like I said, I watch a lot of the YouTube. So whether it's Vosh or Surfs or whatever, like and they have infighting and stuff. And part of that infighting is who do you either platform, who do you have on your show, who do you decide to debate, and do we talk about things like QAnon? And I think that now that what we've seen with the vaccines and January 6th insurrection, the attack on the Capitol, it's like, wait a minute, because I have to say a lot of my coworkers will say sentences like QAnon. That's crazy. Those people are crazy. I don't have anything to do with QAnon. But you really got to wonder, why are the vaccine and this is that? And it's like, no, those are QAnon talking points, right? So
exactly.
You kind of have to attack
right.
them. So CG is crazy. It's fringe. They're easily dismissed, but they're, like you said, the narratives leak out from there. And so it's easy for a comic book reader to go, yeah, well, fuck CG. I don't care about CG. Those guys are a bunch of fucking weirdos. But SJWs, am I right? And it's like,
yeah.
And
I see what you're saying.
It's the entire the SJW, the anti-SJW movement or whatever the hell that it troubles me in general. But because comics are the thing that I know best, that's what I focus in on, right? Like so, and in my opinion, and I don't even know if this is a matter of opinion. I think that it's probably pretty easy to tell that this is all an extension from the growing neo-fascist sentiments that have happened in our, and you know what I mean? Like it's all part of the same fucking organism. And it's just that I don't know politics as well as a lot of people. Like Lance can go off about politics. Bosch can. I let them do that. And then here's my area over here, and I'm going to hammer on this. So
yeah, for sure.
Valid. Okay.
So I do want to push on one thing, if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
You said something earlier that kind of there have been some tweets, and then you said something that kind of like confirmed it earlier. You said some of your context is going to be about bad lefty takes, which there are, right? There are, but in a political environment that I have issues, and I have a lot of issues with the infighting amongst leftists themselves. Like when I hear like YouTube, I'm like, what are you guys doing? That's what I think about. Do you think there's harm? Do you think that it could be taken as ammunition against the SJWs, against the left, if you do content that's kind of highlighting bad lefty takes, or if you like some of the tweets that I've seen that is like making fun of certain leftist point of views or like cartoonish versions of that? Like, do you worry that you're going to be considered a centrist or maybe even a right winger for doing that?
Well, it's kind of a two-part question. I'll answer the last part first because do I worry about what people are going to think of me? No, because it doesn't matter what I do. People, I mean, think of me certain ways. There are lefties who think I'm just a centrist already because I'm not like, I don't know, because I mean, during the primaries, after Bernie lost the primary, I was like, well, we got to vote Biden now, and I became a centrist neolib to a lot of lefties at that point. I'm like, we just need to get rid of Trump, dude. Like that's all I'm talking about.
Right.
So there's that kind of vibe online where if you don't line up 100% with these, revolutionary, in my opinion, LARPy positions, then you're just whatever. And then as far as am I worried about? Well, first of all, whenever I say that I'm going to go after the ideas, it's the bad takes. I'm not, and I mentioned this. I did a Q&A video a while back where I said that I'm going to be doing this, but the difference between this and what I normally do is I'm not going to call people out. In fact, a lot of the takes that I think are kind of silly are from people I super admire and respect, and otherwise I think are doing amazing work. And so it's not like I'm not going to be starting drama with anyone. It's just going to be like, here's this thing I see around sometimes, or I've heard said, and I'd like to talk about. So it's not going to be nearly as antagonistic as what I normally do. And that's part of the big reason why I haven't done it yet. I get a lot of comments asking me when I'm going to do something like that, and it's like, because this stuff isn't as harmful as what is coming from the right. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm focused on, is harm reduction. And, so I've been pushing it to the back burner for several months now because, and for these reasons, because I want to make sure when I do it responsibly, that I'm not saying this is what all leftists think or anything like that. Because I tend to be pretty specific about, things. Like I try not to paint with a broad brush.
Yeah, like it seems like you don't really, and maybe I'm projecting because this is kind of how I feel, but it seems like you don't really have a problem with leftist politics. You have a problem with leftist people. So are certain leftist people. And
I live in the Portland, Oregon area, and I've met and interacted with and organized with some lefties around here who are just truly awesome people. And I, couldn't possibly criticize anything they're doing because they're pragmatic, they're smart. I think that that's a different thing than what the online culture becomes on the left. And I think there is a bit of, there's an element of especially on like Twitter and such, where, is that my cat?
It's my cat, Coco.
Okay. No, it's fine. I just didn't know if he was, there's a lot of, honestly, teenagers like on Twitter and stuff like that don't, they have the talking points, but they don't have any context behind them. They don't have a full grasp on the political landscape to apply these talking points in a way that makes any sense. So it just becomes, kind of performative for some people. And then, and that's not to say all. I definitely don't want to ever imply that I don't think there are any good, lefties online, because there definitely are. But yeah, sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, I think it's just more. You answered it. Okay. I think there's a lot of I do this thing, and maybe it's not honest. I don't know. It's a good thing we're not a bigger channel, because I probably get clip shipped for saying this. But sometimes there are times where I see a point and I go, I feel like that makes sense, but I also know that if I say that out loud, that the right is going to run with that, and they're going to take that and they're going to go, and that's fuel. And I would rather, and it's like you bring up harm a lot, right? And so that's me. That's like, so I'm a humanist, and harm reduction is definitely like the basis of how I decide to like take the next step, right, every day. And sometimes I think, well, sitting there acknowledging this as a bad take, or this is stupid, that's going to add fuel to the right. Now, I don't feel like it's worth doing it because I'm not going to, I don't know. So, but you answered why you've considered that and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and as another thing that I study that, and have studied and stuff is just fascism, historical fascism. So I kind of have authoritarianism in general. Like, one thing that I've realized is I mean, of course, you have to consider this stuff. Like, if I'm irresponsible with my language or what I say, will the right use this against my goals or harm reduction goals or anything? But at the same time, they're gonna find ways to use what you say, no matter what.
True.
And it's like if I start thinking every time something might get used this way or that way, it's like that's just what they do. Mm-hmm. And so I don't feel like it's there's a cost benefit ratio there, and like I like to think that it's more beneficial to talk about certain things as long as it's done measured and responsibly, rather than just let it go unsaid. And sorry.
You're just it's a distinguishment between annoying and dangerous. Like, you could, as long as you always have yourself centered on like, well, this thing that some people on the left are doing is annoying, but this thing that everyone on the right is doing is dangerous,
right?
And kind of like make sure that there's that balance, that weightedness. Then yeah. Is that what you were saying, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, like the things that just, I'll go ahead and say a couple of them that bug me from the left are, and it's typically just something I see on Twitter going around every once in a while. People will say like superheroes are inherently imperialist or fascist or whatever because they don't, like if I don't know, if they really wanted to benefit society, they would, I guess, overthrow the government. And you know what I mean? Like, it starts to get really nebulous there, where it's like, so you're saying that Superman should force his will on society? That's just kind of might is right. Just from
I interest you in Dr. Doom?
Yeah.
I think you'll like him.
Or Injustice. Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. So just things like that, where it's like, I don't feel like these takes come from, and this is another thing, I don't feel like these takes come from people who actually read comics.
So, I think definitely. The internet is full of, no matter what fandom, or even if you're not a fandom, just you're boomer on. Like, there's people who've like seen a hot take on a meme and have taken it as like, I'm just gonna make this part of my personality.
Yeah.
Without really thinking about it. And it's big stuff and it's like little stupid stuff. And I hate it.
Yeah.
No, you're right. G, did you have any other specific questions or anything you wanted to ask?
Do you have a good day?
Yeah, it's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Good.
How about you? How was your day?
Oh, my day was pretty good. I finished my book,
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
We're getting into the hard-hitting journalism here.
This is it. This is what the people are looking for. Well,
I'm not a natural interviewer, okay?
Cool.
I just wanted to make sure because I know we had some stuff written down and you don't have it in front of you. So if you have anything that you want to just spit it out. No. So then I will kind of close. I said there's two things here, Judah. Do you want me to just ask the second one there and we'll close it out?
Yeah. Go on ahead.
So there was the whole,
but do it with my voice though.
Do it with my voice though. No, I can't. Sorry. So let's see. I'll just read it as it says. What exactly happened with the planned EVS debate? I know you mentioned it last. I saw you did your video titled "EVS Canceled Me," and you allude to the fact that there might have been a debate set up, and then what happened with all that?
Yeah, I mean, I addressed it all pretty in detail in that video. There was never a scheduled debate between me and Ethan Metzger. That was never, ever a thing. So I figured out pretty early on that there's not really any point to debating Ethan because he pretty much
is a lying piece of shit.
Well, that was.
It doesn't seem like there is much to Ethan.
I was, you said what my brain was telling me, but I was trying to find different words.
A deceptive piece of feces.
Yeah, so like there's, that's where it comes, I'm choosing, by not debating him, it was in my mind responsible because I know that I am tethered to facts and reality and he's not. I know that I don't spend a few hours every day streaming and talking and being charismatic and you know what I mean? Like it just wouldn't have gone well. And so I was never going to do it. And I explained all that in that video, but like Taylor from Taylor Talks Comics came to me a few weeks ago and messaged me and said, I've been watching your videos on Ethan and can you give me some tips on debating him? And I said, yeah, I'll give you a tip. Don't fucking debate him. And he was like, well, it's too late. I'm already debating him. And I could show the DMs. I should have done that in the video, but like, I can't believe that people really latched onto this idea that I was supposed to debate him or something like that. But I guess they did. And I at that point I was like, well, the debate's already happening. I don't think it's great that he's doing it, but I also didn't know Taylor. And then as we started talking and I got to know where he was coming from and his arguments and stuff like that, I got more confident in him. And I felt like he was bringing facts in a way that I hadn't seen anybody bring to Ethan before. The couple of debates I've seen with Ethan were, they had valid things to address with him, but it's like nothing that can be argued on a factual basis. So like he could say, oh, you said that this F slur one time, and Ethan's like, no, I didn't, and that's the end of it, right? Whereas like Taylor had certain ways of framing the sales numbers and such to where like if Ethan's confronted with these, he's going to have to either, cede the point or find some really clever, creative way to get around it because like the facts are the facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he did that pretty well. Like he brought up, because the central narrative with them is that the industry is collapsing. It's dying. Nobody's buying these comic books.
And they're eating their lunch. That's what they say.
Yeah. But Taylor had like the sales numbers from, like a random issue of X-Men this year or the year before or something like that. And compared to a book Ethan was drawing in like 2006. And it's, which Ethan considers was selling well back then. Right. But this random issue of X-Men was selling twice as much. Mm-hmm. And it's like, he had several examples like that I wouldn't have thought of to frame it that way. But I was like, that's fucking brilliant. And I don't know if any of you watched the debate, but he did back Ethan into a corner a couple of times. Like I told him going into it, there's no way you're going to come out of this looking like the clear champion who just slayed the dragon or something like that, because Ethan won't allow it because he controls the playing field too much. He won't debate in a truly neutral place. He either debates on his channel or when he does debate somewhere else, it's with one of these moderators that pretends to be neutral, but it's clearly someone that's friends with them.
Right. It becomes a 2v1. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, these are all reasons why I didn't think it was a good idea, but he said that they agreed to no moderator, which in that case is kind of better. Mm-hmm. Because it's almost better to have no moderator than to have, a guy that's just on Ethan's side and not even really pretending to be neutral. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he hit him pretty hard with a couple of points to the point where at one point Ethan just flat out said, we can't discuss this right now. I'll tell you why off stream.
Yeah.
Pretty. Go ahead.
Do you think Ethan had a meltdown afterwards? Like when they logged off, do you think he like fucking punched a hole in his cardboard Super Frog like stand up and just lost his shit?
I mean, if he did, is that different than any other day for him? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think that a lot of people make the mistake I see a lot of people make with debates is you go into debates either trying to debate at the opponent, right? As if you're going to ever change their mind. You're not operating off the same definitions. One person might be willing to lie and you're not. And it doesn't make any sense. But then I think about let's go to the where debates came from and where they're mainly used now is, especially in the political arena. And it's like the politicians are not trying to sit here and bro, across the aisle, like, I need to change your mind. They're like facing the audience, right? And I think that's the only way debates can be valuable. If you understand that you will never, ever, ever, ever change their mind or change the minds of their fans, because the fans are just there for blood, right? You have to be going at it saying, I'm talking to the audience, and hopefully there's that middle mush that I could reach, and someone's gonna go, wow, yeah, even EVS doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I haven't seen that video on anywhere besides EVS's channel. That's why I haven't seen it.
So as like I feel like you're never going to convince their audience. You're never going to convince them, but you can shake their audience's confidence in them as a demagogue. So like, if they look like a dumbass, one thing their audience doesn't like, even if their ideology remains the same, is standing someone who looked like a fucking dumbass in front of everybody, because that's embarrassing to them. So if you can pull that off, won't necessarily change anyone's mind, but you can like cut the head off the off. You know what I'm saying? Cut the.
It's easy to look at. It's easy to look at the chat on one of Ethan's streams or something and see all these people that are just mindlessly like agreeing, support him, and you know what I mean. But there's a lot more people that aren't commenting. You know what I mean? So they're not as dedicated to, I guess, virtue signaling for their support for him or whatever. So there's definitely I don't know what the percentage is, but there's a chunk of people in there that are not fully in the door of Comicsgate. Maybe they have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Maybe they're just taking a peek for the first time. And those are the people that can be siphoned off and, show them an alternative, show them facts and a more well-rounded factual narrative that they might go, oh shit, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He sure sounds like he does, but yeah.
Makes sense. So if you audience right now, looks like we have a very small little tablespoon of people, but if you're in the audience and you want to check out this channel, definitely check it out. Just go to Forced Adversity and give it a look. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. And there's really like this last video that you made where I think at the end you were like, I'm going to make the most fucking brutal, I'm paraphrasing, most brutal video about Ethan ever. Got me really excited, to be honest. I was pretty stoked. So
I'll say this, and this will be kind of the first time I've mentioned this publicly. After that video, I got a couple of messages from a couple of comics professionals. I'm not going to say who, because that will just put a target on them until I'd rather wait until the thing drops. But
so Garth Ennis hit you up and
completely.
All right.
Saying, hey, anything I can do to help with that, let me know, because I've known Ethan a long time. One person actually gave me the name for this thing once it comes out. He said he's a monster, and what he wants to help me. So yeah, I'm super duper excited about it, and it's going to be the biggest thing that I've done. It's also going to be kind of what I had in mind since I started my channel. I was a fan of Ethan Van Sciver back in his Green Lantern and Flash Rebirth days. You know what I mean? Like I was following him on Facebook and would see the patterns as he would say something fucked up and then get called out for it, and then he'd apologize, and then a few months would pass and he'd do it again, and every time I'm just like, dude, why are you doing this? And it just kind of escalated from there to where it is now. So I don't see it as going to stop unless more people are aware of what he's doing. So
yeah, cool. So you want to stick around? We're gonna start going through the news headlines. And the first one's a fun one because I don't know. Did this panel see Venom Let There Be Carnage yet?
Yep. Twice.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well. God damn it.
If you want to talk about it, I got something I can go do real quick and come back.
We're not gonna go too in depth on it, but there's a.
You don't want to hear this one.
Well, so the director.
Get time to fuck out. Yeah, if you want to mute or something, you don't want to hear this.
I'll run to the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
That one's huge. You don't want to say that shit. Like, All right, go.
What?
So there's a Spider-Man crossover with Carnage or with Venom in the works, and that is confirmed by Andy Serkis. Supreme Leader Snoke has confirmed it. So,
dude, like I'm so fucking proud of him from this movie. Like, I actually had to go home and Google and be like, is Andy Serkis gay? Like, no, he's married with kids. Okay, well, are any of his kids gay? Because I'm like, I don't believe that this dude has not had like someone he really cares about who's queer, because like
that pride scene.
This is like the freaking queer representation that we've been asking for, and it was done so well.
Yeah.
Also, like, okay, you've seen my spoilers. They're not that spoilery, are they?
No. Well, I mean, I thought we were gonna get into the end credit scenes. Where
no, I was
like, that's all anyone's talking about, and I'm like, I want to talk about this really good movie.
Yeah.
Can we get to the pride scene, please?
Right.
But Spider-Man, shut the fuck up.
We all knew that was coming, though. Like, that was, I think, one of the worst kept secrets.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I think is kind of cool is the way the symbiote suit is introduced in the comics. It's in Secret Wars, and there's basically like a uniform machine on Battle World that Spider-Man stumbles upon, and out comes this little ball that becomes his black suit that was like very popular for a pretty long time. And the character of Venom didn't really emerge. Like, it wasn't explained that it was like this symbiote thing until way later. But the idea of it just kind of coming to the main Earth 616 from like another world is kind of like, that actually almost works if Venom is introduced into the MCU, kind of interdimensional shit. You know what I mean?
Gonna do mutants.
Absolutely not. 100% not.
Do $20 right now on air. 20 bucks.
Okay, bet $20 bucks. Can I retroactively bet on all the other times I was right, or starting now?
Did we bet on those? I don't.
That sounds like way more complicated.
Yeah, no. Okay, and that'd be a terrible deal for you. So yeah, understood. Cool. Yeah, no mutants. Robo says mutants. So
no, hold on. Time out. I'm not saying this Venom thing is gonna be. I'm saying
you're saying that when mutants are introduced to the MCU, it's going to come from an interdimensional shit from this Fox universe.
Yes.
Okay, I'm telling you that's 100% not going to happen. I'll raise the bet to $40. You
can't say 100%, but I'm not saying from the Fox universe. I'm just saying from another universe. Like this thing, I'm guessing, is going to be about that.
I think anytime we're talking about adding a character that has not been involved for,
we're done with it. You're good.
We're talking about like adding in characters and like kind of like where have you been with the MCU? Like, I think given what we've seen with the shows, the multiverse is the natural thing to assume. But like at this point, I know I'm going to be wrong. I've been wrong with almost every guess in the MCU. So
yeah, I mean, it defeats the whole purpose of mutants if they are introduced to the MCU from another universe.
Yeah, it's going to have to be something like, and I kind of suspect that the version they introduced might be closer to the Krakoan version.
Yes.
I would love to see. Yeah, like I really don't want to see First Class again. I do not want to see the First Class.
And I think they know that. You know what I mean? Like they're probably, that's probably a big reason why they did such a drastic shift in the status quo with mutants is, to kind of set up for the movies. But like maybe the island has, just been hidden psychically by Charles Xavier or something like that. But
my assumption is that, okay, so in Logan they allude to like Xavier fucked up and killed a lot of people. Like, I assume something like that happened, and the maybe Jean just made people forget. And so like the mutants have been there the whole time, but like we had to forget they were there.
Yeah, that would be cool. That actually would be cool. But
they're doing that kind of with someone else right now. So
check this out. So I see it as being the end of a string of like 7 or 8 Easter eggs over the next couple of years. So I see maybe in one movie we pass, characters are talking and they pass by a newsstand and you see a headline like "Fishman spotted off the coast," and then like in a completely other movie, like there's a new, there's someone's characters switching channels, and on one channel it's like entire town forgets an entire day or something, like various little Easter eggs that show that there are mutants somewhere. maybe there's something weird happening, but it's just not the focus right now, just to kind of make it feel like it didn't just come out of nowhere. And then by the time Xavier's school is finally introduced, like what do we know about Professor Xavier in the comic books? He's cautious. He's a cautious guy. He's against. He very much like wants to kind of like maintain a status quo where his students are safe to some extent, and maybe not in all interpretations, but in quite a few interpretations.
Dude,
so
I could see after like Sokovia not wanting to be like, oh hey, by the way, there's mutants.
So he's got Scott, Jean, fucking Iceman, Beast, and Angel at this school, and they're just like not even training to be superheroes. It's just a place to keep them safe. And part of the plot of the movie can be hey, we have these abilities. You saw what the Avengers did in New York. You saw what they reversed the blip. Like, maybe we should be doing more than just hiding in this school. So to me, it makes perfect sense for them to be introduced that way. I don't think you needed some crazy plot device.
There's only 5 mutants in the world?
Well, that's the original 5. What would happen during the movie is that eventually,
they should be way more rare than they are in the comics right now.
They should be.
That makes sense.
But Robo, the way the mutants were introduced was they went to Krakoa, and the original 5 went to Krakoa, and they never came back. So Professor Xavier had to go around and recruit Storm, Wolverine, like all these other characters. That's a cool movie scene of him recruiting like all these other X-Men.
I can absolutely see like the entrance to Krakoa being. Have we all seen Shang-Chi?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, the way.
Okay. So like I could totally see that entrance working, like getting to Talo.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if it was from another dimension or something.
Yeah, like Krakoa's in a pocket dimension. And
it came from like another outside the dimension. Yeah, that does make sense.
I think they could start with giant size number 1. You know what I mean?
I'm down.
I think that like let's assume that the mutants have existed this entire time, right? Bear with me. So like they've been around this entire time, and they're out in the population, like anybody else. But maybe through Cerebro, whatever they decide to use, anytime one pops up and they, Xavier, I don't know, reaches out telepathically and just kind of wipes people's memory of that mutant or something like that. Right. You know what I mean? Like that could be how he's been handling this whole time. And it would make sense, and it would kind of solve the problem.
You could make a really powerful collage of like kids having to forget their parents or something like that. Ooh. Oh.
I like Deadly Genesis.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I like Deadly
Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm thinking of Schism.
Ed Brubaker, right?
Yeah.
I like Schism. I don't know. I'm such a sucker for all X-Men before 2014. I feel like that's when it started to plummet. There was like this weird period of like, it just seemed like they were spinning their wheels doing a lot of alternate universe like events that just didn't have lasting consequences.
I feel like it was like before that, like from 2010 or so to, pretty much House of X, Powers of X.
I mean, that's you're talking about the Kyle Yost X-Force era, which is like fucking amazing.
Well, yeah, there were things here and there, but like the general, like the overall mutant narrative got pretty stale for a good fucking decade there, right?
They leaned heavy on No More Mutants for a long time. As being like the central thing. Yeah. Good point. Yeah, definitely.
And in fact, I guess Hickman in House of X, Powers of X, I remember there's like a page that every panel showed like the different eras of the X-Men. There was like the original era, and then whenever it got to like the 2010s era, it was like the forgotten era or the lost era. So, like basically Hickman saying, "Don't worry about this fucking era anymore."
Right. That's funny. Yeah. That is pretty funny. I would like them to start with the original 5. They don't have to end with the original 5, and they don't even have to linger on the original 5 for a whole movie. But I just kind of like the idea of those people.
I'd be okay with like an original 5 prequel.
Or a first scene. It could just be the first scene before the title card, like showing the original 5, and then after the title card, they're gone because they got trapped on Krakoa, and now it's the beginning of it's giant size. You know what I mean?
Right.
the main
I don't
thing
know.
that I don't want to see, and this is going to sound messed up because he's, as much of a trope as it is, Wolverine's one of my favorite characters, period. So like, I don't want to see him for a couple of movies at least.
I think we need a decade without a Wolverine movie before you can do another Wolverine.
Bring him into a Hulk movie.
No,
Like
that would be dope.
It's just I think people need time to miss the character.
I miss him.
And I mean,
I
miss the movies. I mean
people more than Promo.
That's the one aspect, but like also, we just need to focus on mutants themselves for a while. Like Wolverine just sucks so much oxygen out of the room whenever he's around, So yeah,
I'd love to
his
do
awesomeness.
Exactly.
Kind of do an Iron Man, like pick a mutant and like give us a movie just based on this one character and make us love that one mutant and then give us more.
I have one stipulation about Wolverine. I don't care what gender plays him. I don't care what race plays him. The one thing is they have to be short and hairy. Whoever they are, they have to be short and hairy.
Actually, I don't see that happening because I know aesthetics are super important to Hollywood.
Yeah.
So like maybe like Stanley Tucci. Short and hairy.
Did you see that the campaign for Danny DeVito?
Amazing. Yeah.
I mean,
He looks
want an accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay
pictures.
with it. I'm okay with the short and the chubbiness. You do need muscle too. So it's like it's gonna have to be a muscly, chubby, like angry, drunk guy.
Hey, don't count Danny DeVito out. I mean, look what Chris Pratt did, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
If there was a way to make Jason Momoa look short without also making him look incredibly silly, I think he'd be a good Wolverine.
Yeah,
but he's fucking enormous. So.
If we just got Laura and Gabby instead of Logan, I would be so fucking fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
I could see them doing that.
I mean, like,
because see the internet imploding for it.
Definitely. But like they could do it to where, so if they introduce those two, they could still be clones of the original Wolverine, but we just don't meet him for quite a while.
That's actually a cool idea. Yeah,
I think that's a great way to do it because you build on them and then we can go back and you'll have,
and maybe Laura's looking for her biological father, and that's the plot thread that leads her to Wolverine.
I feel like do Jason Momoa as Sabretooth, not Wolverine.
Sabretooth
he would be a good Sabretooth.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna have a hot take right here. I'm a hot take. I'm tired of seeing Momoa.
Same.
I'm over him. I fell in love with him. Fell in love with him. Game of Thrones. That was like man crush. I was like, damn, like that's fucking. This dude is bad as fuck. And then I saw him again. Then he does the Haka, and I'm like, whoa, that's badass. Then he does the Haka again. Then he does the Haka again. And then it's like, okay. Then he's the Aquaman.
I remember when like
where I am with The Rock now.
Yeah,
I need more Jason Momoa.
Do you remember in like 2013 they released that picture of Momoa as Aquaman for the first time, and it was like Unite the Seven, right? And I got super fucking hyped at that. I was like, holy shit, they're making Aquaman badass. I can't wait for this. But like by the time the Justice League movie came out, it's like, okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah, true that.
Sketchy got hands is I agree with that.
Joe Manganiello
and just about anything.
Joe Manganiello would be a
whatever his last name is.
Yeah.
Joe M.
Joe M. Good Sabretooth choice. I agree.
Sure. Yeah.
So our next.
Also, for the record, Liev Schreiber I think was a really good Sabretooth.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I think I think he put on a good performance, and I think he's a good actor. I just don't think that he really fit with my vision of Sabretooth. But
Same.
Yeah.
I feel like he looked just like him. Like he was like, I don't know.
It's a little too
worked for me.
A little too charming, I think. You know what I mean? Like
that's fair.
Sabretooth is like Sabretooth is a character that makes people uncomfortable. Like makes people very uncomfortable. I don't know.
I'm very attracted to Freddy Krueger, so maybe I'm not the right person for this.
You know his backstory, right? Have you seen them?
Okay.
Nope, it happened.
We talked about
Cool. So
those rumors are unsubstantiated.
So She-Hulk. I'm gonna move us along. She-Hulk.
Mutants wild. That's not even one of our talking points on this page.
It is. So Spider-Man writer Zeb Wells is joining the She-Hulk Disney Plus series. Zeb Wells has written a lot of really awesome shit. He wrote the news. He wrote Spider-Man. He's currently writing for Bad Idea. He just wrote their Sleigh Bells. No, he didn't. I don't know if he wrote Sleigh Bells or not. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, this is a pretty awesome comic book writer, and he's going to be writing the at least participating in the She-Hulk series. So if I could be, I didn't think I could be any more excited about this series, but now I'm more excited. Definitely going to be a good one.
You said Wells?
Zeb Wells, yeah.
Yeah.
He is writing for Bad Idea. I'm trying to remember.
You were right about Sleigh Bells.
Sleigh Bells, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm
extremely excited for that show. Like,
I'm wondering how they're going to do it because there's so many different interpretations.
Any legal show, like, I'll watch it. I love legal dramas, especially like legal dramedies like Boston Legal.
Is that confirmed? That's what they're gonna do? Are they gonna do like a crime procedural with She-Hulk?
That would be cool.
Last I heard, it's a legal drama.
Wow.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Dan Slott run.
Yeah, my favorite thing about She-Hulk has always been that she has like a day job. I love when superheroes have like an actual job.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be kind of a comedy as well, right? Like, so they might be kind of drawing from the Peter David run, and yeah.
Like, if I can get a Boston Legal type TV show in the Marvel universe, I will very reasonably die of happiness.
One, like the old Marvel graphic novel series, sort of like, I don't know if it debuted She-Hulk, but it was a really good She-Hulk graphic novel. I don't know if we would call it a graphic novel now. It's just a jumbo-sized comic book issue. But the David Byrne or the John Byrne. Why did I say David Byrne? The John Byrne She-Hulk like original sensational run was like so beautifully drawn and just so like hilarious and humorous and like.
That's what I was thinking. I said Peter David, but yeah.
Well, he did write She-Hulk as well. But yeah.
Did he cut out?
Uh-oh.
Okay, I thought it was me.
Yeah, me too. I was in the background. I'm like, did I die? No. Okay, he died. All right.
So what's next?
Does anybody have anything else to say about She-Hulk? Perfect casting. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna do, like the more traditional or the way she's been depicted recently in Avengers.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's
which pisses a lot of people off. Apparently, the way she's been the last couple of years, like they expect her to be sexy She-Hulk and not an actual Hulk. But
yeah,
one of my favorite panels of Jen is what is her saying, like, nothing makes me calm like the sound of angry men. So yeah, like just
yeah.
Respectfully fucked up.
Just like surviving off chud tears. Yeah, I hear you. Sentiment. Yeah, you know what? If Judah was here, I know he would say that he does miss the old She-Hulk. I think, and this is the kind of thing, and we don't have to do a long talk about it. I know we're running long anyway, but it's like, I think it's okay to be unhappy. I don't know if that's the right word. I think it's okay to be like, oh, that sucks. For like, for race bending or gender bending or anything like that. I think it's okay to be that way because you have a character you grew up with, you read comic books, and they can be on the big screen. It's not how I grew up with, and I think that's okay. But I think there's like a certain level of anger that once you reach there, like, wait a minute, what are you?
Just don't be an asshole about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
anytime it's a character that you love, the stakes are automatically higher. Like me going to see Carnage is 0 stakes. I don't care about that character. Right. Yes. But for someone, who's been reading it like since they were a kid, like my partner, that like it's hugely high stakes.
Yeah.
Hated
and so with the
time
whole
because it's nothing like the comics. But then
there's
like
a certain
when you
amount of
adjust
joy.
the expectations.
There's like a certain amount of joy to seeing someone like Patrick Stewart. Like Patrick Stewart playing Professor Xavier was literally was literally Professor Xavier coming off of the page and being in a movie. Like it was a perfect casting choice.
Don't like him.
I mean, there's people who don't like anything, but like
I can put in the same box as people who don't like Skugway.
But like to me as a fan, it was like a gift to see the character literally in front of me in live action, and I understand enjoying that, and I understand being a little bit bummed out when that doesn't happen.
Right.
But like Robo said, like a little bummed out. To me, that's the maximum amount of
you have to like let it go.
Yeah.
Anything above that is just ridiculous.
I see it as like, you know, and that's one thing I want to address in this video I'm working on now, as a matter of fact, is like I don't think that people shouldn't have negative reactions to you know, whatever's happening in comics, but like there's, for one thing, things always revert back to the status quo eventually. And you know, and another is that just because you might not prefer this thing, it doesn't mean that there's zero value in it and that there's nobody else getting value from it. And that's really the you know, at the core of the issue, I think, is that like people don't, if it's not for them, they think it's just entirely worthless or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That's being a child.
It's weird how you could just find something else to be interested in.
Yeah, no kidding. But
like, you don't like the direction Star Wars is going in? Like maybe, I don't know, check out like Dune or something else.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of sci-fi you could read. Maybe look
read.
into like Wheel of Time, man. Like
The Expanse.
Yeah.
The Expanse. Watch The Expanse.
Judah, just so you know, like because I know you want to comment on this when you were resetting your internet. The comment was we wonder what She-Hulk is going to be like. Is she going to be how she is now, the Hulkish, or is she going to be her classic? And and I'm saying that I know you're not a fan of the new She-Hulk, but for
I like 7 foot tall, huge boobs She-Hulk. I'm okay with, I like boobalicious She-Hulk. I'm not going to pitch a fit if they go with super jacked like monster She-Hulk. Like I'll be a little bummed out, but I'll probably say what?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I mean, interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, if they go with like super like monster She-Hulk, like I'll be bummed out for a few moments, and I'll still probably enjoy the show. I'm not going to make a big deal about it.
One of the points that you made that I thought was good was the way they wrote She-Hulk. You know, like we can critique the art of the 90s and the 80s, I don't think it's they're immune to critique, but one of the things that She-Hulk was unapologetically sexual, and was the good guy, right? So it was like you could be like we had ladies, you know, lots of heroes who are allowed to be ladies' men and sexual and stuff like that, and that's fine. But if you had a sexual woman, then the only way
a big no-no
was they had to be a villain. But it was like She-Hulk was like, yeah, I like to fuck, and I'm also a hero, and it's like I was like, how progressive, how sex positive.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Like, check this out.
I mean, her and Thor were fucking in the Avengers comics a while back, so like they retained that a little bit.
So check this out. I'm gonna find this because I had it in arm's reach. When you first meet She-Hulk in the John Byrne one, but when you first meet She-Hulk, she's like hauling this dude off to go smash. Like,
nice.
That's fucking cool, you know? Like, you still don't see like that brand of like sexual empowerment for women in stuff. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, I think that would be fucking cool, and it would still be sexy. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I mean, you know, like, I don't know. I think something's lost if they suck all sexuality from the character. But I'm not. Again, it's like they could still make a good show.
You know, I don't know if this Disney Plus show is really gonna draw on her inherent sexuality, but we can hope.
We're gonna be sex positive, and there'll be a new partner every episode, and that'll be part of the show. Like, who did She-Hulk fuck this week?
I always remember there was like an issue of X-Men or something in the mid 2000s or something. This panel just stays in my mind because it just, I don't know, it's so cool when it happened. Where like it cuts to her and Juggernaut, I think it was, and they were like,
that's
you know,
right.
laying in bed after sex, like the room was just fucking destroyed, like the foundations of the room were cracked and stuff. It was awesome.
That was dope. All right.
Awesome. So what do we got? So Death of Doctor. So Death of Doctor Strange Bloodstone coming out January 12th. This kind of just excited me because Ilsa Bloodstone is attempting to fill the vacuum left by Doctor Strange, and I'll be honest, I'm just stoked that there's an Ilsa Bloodstone centric title coming out because
I am finding out about this right now.
Hell
yeah. So this is a live react. This is a live react, everyone. But yeah. So you read Next Wave, right?
Yes.
How much fun is Ilsa in Next Wave?
She and Boom Boom are the highlight, I think, for me of that run.
And they are the highlight. I agree. And like, it's just exciting to know that character's coming back.
It's one of those runs that makes you want to see every one of those characters again. Like every time, I think, like Dakota in the comments can verify. Every time we see Elsa Bloodstone, I'm like, that's Elsa Bloodstone. She's pretty cool.
Yeah,
should probably read that.
Awesome.
Like I want more Machine. I want more Machine Man. I want more Boom Boom. I want just more of all those characters.
I think, dude, Next Wave would be like the greatest, kind of like what Lower Decks is doing for Star Trek, like the irreverent animated. I think, like, please, somewhere can we get a crumb of irreverent comedy?
Next Wave could be Marvel's Suicide Squad if they wanted to pursue that. I think.
Yeah.
Only would be stupider and funnier.
Or like their Harley Quinn. Like Right
on. Cool.
Hey, Danny asked, was Bloodstone in the recent comic book Deadpool book by Kelly Thompson? I am not sure.
I don't read Deadpool.
She was in the Black Knight mini. That's really maybe the only thing I've ever read with her in it, as far as I can remember. Was
Dakota says, I'd rather see the Thunderbolts. And thank you for being in Twitch. Appreciate that.
I would take Thunderbolts too. Frankly.
I think we're probably going to get Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers pretty soon.
Yeah.
I think, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
That would be awesome.
Young Avengers.
And then Dark Avengers ends with Siege. Not Siege. Is it Siege?
That was how Dark Reign ended.
Yeah. There's that one panel of what's his face? Osborn in the in his like Iron Man gear, and he's like thinks that he's won, and then you see the reflection, and Cap has just come back from the dead and nobody knows it yet, and then you just see him look up and you see the reflection of like Cap's shield coming towards his face.
When you said there was this one panel, that I immediately knew that's what you were talking about.
Right.
Like, it's like panel by panel, it gets closer in the reflection, and it's like,
yes, that's amazing. That's one of those times when I'm reading a comic book and I audibly am like, "Fuck yeah!" You know,
right?
Is good. We have demons from. I'm a terrible YouTuber because I've never heard of Best Jacket Press until now. But there's a book called We Have Demons that'll be published by Best Jacket Press, and it's going to be Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo teaming up again, but this time for a creator-owned horror series, which is pretty exciting. Because I think it's for 10 years of collaboration and just making fucking magic between the two of them. It's pretty exciting to see them just go haywire on their own creator-owned. So I think it'll be pretty dope.
Yeah,
that's definitely one I'll be reading.
There's definitely like sometimes you just see matchups. Like obviously Kate Stegman is definitely in that now. But this is definitely one of them. Snyder Capullo is like God tier team ups that it's like, okay, you just stop there and say, hey, so Snyder and Capullo are gonna do it. Just put it on my pull list. Thanks.
Danny's saying it came out this past Tuesday, so I'm literally the worst comic book YouTuber.
Wow.
But I'm gonna check that out.
Cancel.
I'm definitely gonna check that out. Why did I not think that? So for some reason I thought that Snyder was doing exclusive Substack shit now, but I guess not, because he's doing the stuff with Comixology. So this is gonna be a partnership between Comixology and Dark Horse, and so it's part of a new line that's also going to include some Francis Manipool stuff and some Francesco Francavilla stuff. So,
Yeah, I went to go search for it, and it's like right up at the top corner without even searching. So yeah.
Well,
Oh no shit!
Are they gonna sell physical copies? Is it just Comicsology? Exclusive interview, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm a YouTuber. I'm reading this right now.
Let's just all read it right now while we're streaming.
We can learn together.
All right.
That looks so cool. Yeah. Look at that face.
That's good stuff.
It's rad.
Which one?
Yeah. If you look at those faces. With a gaggle of faces is called a what? It's a.
I don't know. You think you said it? It's a gaggle. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out because right now on our Discord, the role for me, Judah, and Ree is the Living Tribunal. I think I'm going to make it this.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So, last news item, and I know it's running kind of late. So, this is old news. This is like 2 to 3 week old news, but it's something that we haven't addressed yet. So, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. Steve Ditko estate attempts to reclaim Spider-Man and Doctor Strange copyrights from Disney. I'm just gonna say straight up, I'm rooting for the Ditko estate. I don't think they're gonna win, but that's who I'm rooting for. It's been a bad year of creators getting fucked, and it's like everywhere you turn, you're seeing either people getting completely.
This isn't really a creator.
It's his family.
Yeah.
He created one of the most. He created one of the most ubiquitous heroes.
Yeah, right. The estate getting. Yeah, no, I'm with you. So, I'm picking up what you're putting down, G.
I have a little insight on this.
Ooh.
The attorney that's representing Ditko and Lee's estate and stuff in this is the same attorney who, in 1976 or 7, whenever Warner Brothers announced the Superman movie, sued them for the rights to Superman on behalf of Siegel and Schuster, and that ended in a settlement to where the settlement that basically it set Siegel and Schuster up for the rest of their lives, kind of like not a whole lot of money, but they got like $30,000 a year after that. And I think they've managed to get some more money out of it maybe since then, not as much as they deserve, but yeah. So I'm guessing that's probably the goal with this, isn't to like actually get the rights back, but just to like force them into court to where they have to settle. The way I looked at that whenever I was doing my research on that Superman video, which is on my smaller channel, it seemed like they basically shamed WB publicly into paying out some money. Because like at the time, Joe Shuster was like going blind and in a nursing home and broke and poor and shit. So like they called attention to it with the press and stuff. And yeah, might be something similar to that, but
yeah. Spider-Man generates billions of dollars. I'd like some of that. I'd like a good amount of that money to go to the Ditko estate. Like I'm okay with that.
I'm torn. I'm torn. I think that is not a controversial statement you're making, and maybe my take is not take, but I'm a little torn on generations later fighting for, because like at what point does my great grandkids are going, hey, that thing that my great grandfather you owe me money, like I'm like, calm down, this you didn't do that. I don't know.
So I'm putting myself in Ditko's mindset. Like he's dead, obviously, but I'm let's say it's just me. I'm creating a character, and I know this character is going to make a fucking fortune. It's going to. I really want my kids, grandkids, and their kids to be cut in on that. I want it to help my family. So that's just kind of my mindset.
Well, I mean, the thing is though, back then they didn't know that these characters were going to be remotely as profitable as they are now. So. I'm not saying
in an ideal world, there would be no need for a lawsuit because Disney would make sure that creators and their families are taken care of when they have a character that's generating billions of dollars a year. We don't live in that world. We live in a world where you have to take people to court to get them to do the right thing. And like small creators, the people I think absolutely should be getting, like the creator of the Winter Soldier is very much alive and is very much getting shafted.
Yeah.
Old Ed B.
So like if the Steve Ditko estate, which I'm sure has a lot more money than smaller creators that are still like actively getting fucked. So like if they can be the big guy to go and like, I'll take this one for the team and like,
that's
then I'm down.
That's a good point.
I have a question,
and it's a good point. Not my name. That's actually
legally speaking.
I changed my mind. Good job. Good job. Not my name.
Nice. So you mentioned the Winter Soldier, and I'm just kind of wondering. Like, this might be a really stupid question, but did Joe Simon create the Winter Soldier, or did Ed Brubaker create the Winter Soldier? Legally speaking.
Well, I mean, it becomes kind of complicated, right? Because Joe Simon created Bucky Barnes, but like the concept of Winter Soldier and the idea that he wasn't dead, that he had been frozen and turned into this, brainwashed assassin, all of that was Brubaker.
Mm-hmm.
So
right, I'm just wondering, like, from a legal standpoint, who gets like the character of Bucky Barnes now? Who gets credit for creating what he is now? As far as like,
that's got to be such a fucking headache. Like, if we're talking about like Deadpool, like what percentage of Deadpool was Nacesia and how much was Liefeld? Like,
I'm on team Fabian.
Yeah, me too. And what was it?
I think everyone with eyeballs and
was
feet.
it Joe Kelly that wrote? I think it was Joe Kelly that wrote Deadpool for after that. Right. That basically gave him the personality that we know. So like Liefeld takes so much credit when he really doesn't deserve it.
With the X-Men, like, yeah, the first X-Men were created by Stan Lee, but like, and Kirby, but like the one that actually was popular was Claremont.
Right.
You hear a lot of you hear a lot about Rob Liefeld in reference to Cable, and you don't hear nearly enough about Louis Simonson. So it's just kind of like fucked up who gets credit, because
I don't know that name.
Yeah, there's a reason. It's just she does not get the credit that she deserves.
Yep,
but
100%.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, that's our show.
That's the
news.
Yeah.
Dane, thank you so much for joining us and giving us some of your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. What do we got going on? I know we have a Colin Bunn interview coming up, so pay attention to the channel. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. We'll have just put in Force Diversity in the Google, but right after this show, we'll put it in the description too, a link to that. And check us out. Also go to IFL Comics, iflcomics.com, and you'll find links to our other videos. To some articles that we wrote like a year and a half ago, and we don't have anything new on there. But the most important thing is the link to our Discord so that you can come out, hang out, and all of that. Ladies and gentlemen and NBs, that is the end of our show. Thank you so much for being with us. We are
Delirium Hour tomorrow.
Okay, yep, Delirium Hour tomorrow. What time is that? I know. You tell them. I want to see if you get it right.
I'm gonna say it's at 10 Eastern. Is it at 10 Eastern?
I don't know. It's definitely not.
I don't know.
Yeah, but pay attention because we're out to our Twitter because we're gonna announce it, and there's a lot of stuff. Also, go get vaccinated, wash your hands, and wear your mask when you're outside. Bye. I love you.
Wipe your.
What's up, friendly neighborhood nerds? If you want to hear interviews from industry pros, get first looks, and have access to endless comic content, wake up. Please wake up. You're in a coma. Your mother misses you.